Man, what a beautiful morning.
Have you ever dreamed of stepping away from the chaos of everyday life and building a home in the wilderness, relying on nothing but your own skills and knowledge? Imagine crafting your dream homestead, surrounded by nature, with each day offering new challenges and triumphs. Well, you're not alone. This is my dream too. My name is Dan Van Stralen, and I'm on a mission to build my own off-grid homestead and learn how to live in harmony with the land. Join me on this incredible journey where I'll share every step, every struggle, and every victory along the way. For the past 7 years, I've had the incredible opportunity to travel the world with my family. During that time, I developed a deep love for nature, history, and culture, experiences that have shaped the way I see the world. Now, I want to bring everything I've learned into my dream homestead. After years of planning, saving, and preparing, I'm finally ready to embark on the next chapter of my journey. Right now, I'm putting everything I've learned to the test, seeing if I truly have what it takes to turn my dream into a reality. I'm on my family's 10-acre island in the wilderness, honing my skills and preparing for the next big step, finding my own piece of land to call home. The time I've spent here so far has been some of the best days of my life, but later this spring, I'll be taking the plunge and venturing out for real. But until then, I hope you'll join me as I learn what it truly means to live off the grid. Follow along on my island adventures here at my little cabin in the wilderness, and on the journey to find the perfect property to build my homestead.
Well, guys, we are finally going to be able to make it out to check out one of the properties we've been looking at for a while. Besides the property we looked at last time, this one is definitely the next on the list. And it might, depending on two things when we get there. One is the soil. It looked like in the summer photos that it had nice open fields in between these rocky hills. Sorry, my lips are pretty frozen. But we don't know yet since we haven't visited, and it'll be kind of hard to tell in the winter, but hopefully we can talk with the owners and find out if that's good soil or if that's kind of like a swamp area during the summer, and that'll be a big thing. And then the second thing that we're going to be looking for is whether or not the overall frame and structure of the cabin that's already on the property is structurally sound. I mean, we don't care if there's a few things we need to do to fix her up. We'd actually prefer it that way, but if it's got like rotted floors or some of the beams are rotted to a point where we would have to replace them, then that's also something to consider when choosing the property. It's gonna be great. My dad and Peter are just loading up the snowmobile right now. That's what we're gonna be using to get onto it, because it is an off-grid property, so it doesn't have like a paved or gravel road going up to it. It's about a 2-hour drive from here at the island to get there, and we're supposed to be meeting with the real estate agent at 10, so we're probably gonna be a little bit late. It took a while to get the snowmobile across and loaded and all our gear ready, but we're basically ready to go right now. They're just strapping it down, and we're gonna go meet up with the real estate agent at a Timmy's and then head out to the property from there. But it is like -30 Celsius right now, so my fingertips, my lips, everything are frozen. So I look forward to getting into the warm Jeep and heading on down. We'll see you guys on the way there. All right, well, we're almost at the Tim Hortons where we're going to meeting with the real estate agent, and then the property is about 30 minutes from there. It's actually right outside of a town we visited a few times, a little bit north of where the island is. This is actually where we got our driver's license many years ago. So it's a beautiful area. There's actually a lot of like mountain biking and dirt biking, snowmobiling trails, just a lot of trails around the area. And the forest and everything's beautiful. So with how everything looks here, I'm pretty excited to see what the property looks like. Obviously there's going to be a thick layer of snow over most of the ground, so we'll have to kind of use our imagination, but just to get in, see the landscape, see the cabin is going to be great, and we'll be able to decide if we want to keep looking at that one or if we want to look at some other ones after. All right, well, just quickly stopped off at the Timmy's, got a coffee and some breakfast, met up with our realtor Phil, and we're gonna head out to the property. It's about 25 minutes from here, so we should be there before you know it. All right, so we're on the road that leads to the property right now. It seems pretty nice, like the road's pretty well maintained. I don't think it's been plowed in a while, but that's fine. The whole area is beautiful, and I'm seeing a lot more pine trees than on the previous property we looked at. That was mostly hardwood, which is great for firewood, but not for building. So if there's some good, healthy pine trees, then that will save us a lot of money and a lot of time from outsourcing them from a different area. If we can get the logs we need to build our cabins on the property, then that's all for the better.
So will we just park in there?
Well, I guess let's figure out what we'll do.
Alrighty, so we made it to the property, at least the outskirts of it right now, and we're just figuring out where to park and offload our snowmobiles before making our way in. And yeah, this whole area is beautiful, so I'm interested to see where exactly the property starts and ends and what it looks like. So far, I have to say I'm liking the area. It's very remote, so you know, there's few neighbors and most of them are just beautiful cabins, and then it's got a pretty rough road coming in and out, but that's kind of what we want, you know, like we're not looking for some luxury piece of real estate right in town. We're looking for something we can build and work on ourselves. So right now it looks like Peter's getting stuck in the parking lot. There's a lot of snow. Looks like he got out though. The nearest town we passed through is a population of 600. It's only slightly larger than the town that's near our island, so very cool, very quaint little town, beautiful cabins that the neighbors seem to have, and man, this land is progressively getting more beautiful even as I'm just walking. There's two old barn style cabins, like they look like they're at least, you know, 80 years old that are kind of just sitting here. And then actual like big rocky hills in the distance. So this is the beginning of the property, the driveway in, and it's 100 acres going that way. So there's some power lines right by where we drive in, past the road, but all past that is just open hills and beautiful woods. That's the driveway there that leads to our property. Or I should say the property. It's not our property yet, although it's looking very promising, so we'll see. Some nice powder on the way in here. Oh, there she is.
So whatever your plan is, what type of, I think it's a log building you're thinking?
Yeah, well, I mean, we would like to both kind of build log cabins somewhere on the property here. So, I mean, having a structure up, like this one's plyboard, but I mean, everything looks kind of sound. So, I'm sure we could fix her up pretty nice. Having a little spot like this would be kind of ideal, because then while we're building, we're not just camping out there. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. It's pretty big.
Definitely need the insulation you still have.
Yeah. I was building something, or planning on it, and spent like $1,000 getting some nice insulation, and then didn't end up building it, so at least I've got all that just sitting there. Yeah. The roof can be nice and insulated at least. Huh? Oh, no way, it's actually got stairs. It's pretty big, actually. This is a lot bigger than I thought the little cabin on here was going to be. There's definitely a lot of work that would need to be done, though. But yeah, we just need to make sure the main thing right now is the roof, checking if it's all fully solid and if there's any water that comes through. If the roof's fine, then I think this project is pretty simple. It's got a good structure, and as long as it's not leaking, we should be able to fix it up. But we also need to check out the rest of the property.
To get a better look at things, we decided to fly the drone and get a bird's eye view.
It's pretty good forest on there.
There is no denying that the rolling hills, thick forest, and open field are extremely beautiful, but there are many things we need to consider before purchasing a piece of land. One thing this property definitely has is a great mix of tree species. Both hardwood for collecting firewood and softwood like pine for building the cabins. Other things to consider include water, if there is a source that we can filter from, or if we will have to dig a well. The next is soil. I would like to have a garden at some point and grow as much of my own food as possible, so the soil content and the dryness of the land is very important. During the winter months, it is very difficult for us to tell, but for now we'll just have to find out as much as we can and make our decision later.
Wow. It really is hard to tell.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. But there are those, what are they called?
Wow, that was a beautiful view up there. Yeah. Looking down at the field.
Beautiful. My GoPro died, but got too cold.
See, I think this little section here, 40 acres, I think that's Crown.
Okay.
Confirm that. And there's some kind of a trail or something here. I'll look into that. Maybe I can click on that in our Geo Warehouse program.
I went in a little way, but it's pretty deep snow, and I don't want to risk going right to the end of a trail and then there being a fallen tree and turning around for a couple of hours. So just spun around in there, but there's looks like a platform maybe built there, maybe for a blind or just for sitting at. There was some chairs sitting by it as well. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful little trail.
Well, there's definitely some beautiful hills in this area. It's really gorgeous. Nice view. Thanks for the ride.
Hey, no problem.
Crazy.
Pretty drive in too, eh?
Yeah.
Through those little farms.
Well, that was really great. Had an absolute blast heading out and, heading out on the snowmobiles, getting in back into the property. Just such a beautiful property. The land is beautiful. Those big hills are just outstanding. It's like the Canadian Shield, basically, like this little valley that it's tucked into. The road going in is nice. The towns, there's an OFC trail right next to the property. So in the wintertime, you could literally just drive out and then go to one of the towns on your snowmobile, which is great to know. And also just have a beautiful ride. And, the cabin that's on there is structurally sound. It's very beautiful and big, and definitely would be, a big project, but something we could handle. The only problem right now that we're trying to figure out is, one, that field that we're walking out to, if it is swampy and wet, or if it's just damp, or if it's dry land, and the soil content and stuff like that. Because if that's just like a dry field, then this property is probably the one. But even if it's a bit swampy, we just need to know all that stuff. And then we need to figure out building permits so that we can know beforehand if we'd be able to build where we want to build. So yeah, there's still a lot to figure out, but that's a beautiful property and I love the area, so we'll definitely keep this one in mind. We're gonna go head out, probably stop off in town and pick up a few things before heading back to the island. Yeah, so, being honest, I really liked that property. There's just still a lot of questions that we have before we can start to move forward with the process, if we end up deciding, and land that you can work with to harvest certain things, even when it comes to firewood, and hopefully we can figure all that out soon. That almost didn't start, it's so cold.
Beautiful property, like huge escarpments on it. The cliff when we were driving up, that
Oh,
was
it's
just
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
There's the OFSC trail, right? Like it cuts through the corner of the property, but there's a trail that leads up this escarpment that the cabin's edged up on, and it's beautiful. And then from what it looks like, he's gonna double check with the owner, but we drove in on this little trail that follows the top of the ridge, and there's a platform built up there with some chairs by it, and a whole trail that led across the escarpment. But it looked beautiful, and even if it was swamp, that could potentially be still very buildable, nice areas. It'd just be less usable land, technically. Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah, so there's a big storm coming. That's what we're kind of trying to avoid right now.
You're gonna probably have to go 4 low.
Oh yeah?
Just to get to the road. It's at 4 low.
Yeah. I'd much rather be in my cozy cabin for that storm than on the side of a highway again.
Give her out.
Well, guys, we made it back to the marina now. We're just gonna offload Peter's sled, offload the new groceries we got, and then make our way. We made it before the storm hit. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to, since I don't have Wi-Fi and can't check the weather app, but we've been hearing talk about it in town, And even last week I was hearing people talk about it. So the clouds are getting pretty dark now. It might hit us tonight, which would be nice because I prefer to have a nice fire going, have the cabin nice and warm for when that actually blows in. That makes it really nice and cozy. But what a day. What a big day. That was really nice. The property is very promising. We're, like I said, we're going to find out some more details about it. Obviously, look at some other properties as well. And hopefully by late this winter or early spring, we'll have found a place that we could possibly start a homestead on. So yeah, really big thing, super exciting. I just get excited whenever I see stuff that needs to be done on a property. It's been a lifelong dream of Peter and I's for forever. I've always enjoyed organizing and working on things. So whether or not that's fixing up an old cabin like the one that's there or building a new one, I'm really looking forward to having those projects. And I think that's staying in a place that you made, and living there would just be such a fulfilling feeling. And there's just always so much to do on a homestead. So I'm really looking forward to that whole prospect. And I hope you guys are as well. Like I said, it'll probably be, in the next couple months that we'll settle down on a place. And I'm just really looking forward to that. So let's get back to the island, talk to my parents, and we're probably going to review some of the footage and talk a bit more about that property, and then we'll just continue on from there.
Alrighty, we got all of the groceries put away. Now I just need to pick up a little propane tank for my heater, and then we're good to go. Wow, it's cold. Well, home sweet home. Made it back. And now I'm gonna get my propane heater going to try and warm it up a little while I light my fireplace. Feels good to be back though. Switch propane tanks to get this thing going. It is pretty cold in here right now. I actually have a thermometer, which I'll show you guys. It looks like it's reading about -10 Celsius inside the cabin right now, which is fairly warm considering how cold it actually is outside, which means even though I left here early in the morning and didn't light a fire or have propane heat, it still, maintained a bit of the heat from yesterday night, which is good. I guess I didn't even realize this, but this thermometer here has Fahrenheit readings on it as well. So I guess, only inside. I still don't know how to calculate Fahrenheit. So I try for all my friends from America to give them the proper temp, but I guess 10 Celsius would be like negative 23 Fahrenheit. Sorry, negative 10 Celsius is like below 20 Fahrenheit. So then I guess 0, like where you guys reach 0 in Fahrenheit, would be when we're at negative 20-ish. You know, don't trust me on that, but that's somewhat in the range. Well, I'll keep my eye on that, and as soon as I'm not seeing my breath, at least I can take off my jacket, and we'll see just how warm we can get it in here by checking the thermometer a little bit later.
Well, I mean, can't really see outside right now, but it looks like that storm didn't really materialize. There really isn't much snowfall right now. We're getting little bits of flurries. It will probably pick up tonight sometime later. But I do know down south they're really getting hit by it. My cousins all snowplow during the winter, and they've been going non-stop for the past few days, and especially right now with this big storm blowing through the southern part of Ontario. It's just a little over 20 Celsius, which is, you know, I'd say about 75 Fahrenheit. And it really is nice and cozy in here right now. Ooh. What a big day. I mean, that was great to check out the property. It's definitely going to be one of the ones we consider a lot. Just as kind of like a recap for you guys, or a little reminder, we are looking for a property to hopefully homestead on and build log cabins. Me and my brother, it's been a dream of ours for a very long time, and hopefully late this winter or early spring we can find one. But we really want to make sure that the property we do find checks all the boxes. We'd prefer to have some acreage, obviously, but if we have to sacrifice some of that for, you know, the ideal location, then we're willing to do that. We don't need something that's necessarily as large as that one. That one's 100 acres. We could easily do our homesteading venture with a smaller property, and you know, that'd still be amazing. We've been saving up for pretty much our whole lives, so then we could eventually do something like this. And then now that I'm doing YouTube kind of based around the homesteading, off-grid living kind of lifestyle, then that kind of lends itself to that as well, which is amazing. This spring, most likely, we'll settle on a property. We're going to be looking at them and keeping our eyes open for, you know, properties that might come on the market that whole time. But for now, the first property we looked at and this one are very big contenders. I do love this one we just visited. The cabin's great. The land looks amazing. It really just comes down to how much of that land will be usable. It's got a huge field, which is about 50 acres of the property. So if that turns out to be swampy, then that's a large portion of the property that can't really be used for homesteading. It'd be great for hunting and stuff. We're in contact with the people that own it. We're trying to figure out what that looks like in the summer, if it's arable land, if it's buildable, or you know, what's going on there. It's a dream come true that we're even looking, something me and my brother have talked about for years, and you guys seem pretty excited about it as well, which is absolutely amazing. I'm really glad you guys are as excited as I am. I'll keep you guys updated with the property search and everything leading up to that. And then, of course, once we find a property, I'll take you through the whole journey of homesteading as a, you know, complete noob. I've had some experience working with wood, and obviously have some experience living off the grid. But as far as gardening and self-sufficiency with that whole area of it, I'm a complete beginner. So I've been reading a lot of books and looking online with different things to do with that. And if you guys know anything or have any suggestions, like YouTubers you might watch or podcasts or, you know, what are those called? Blogs. That'd be great to know, and I'll definitely check them out. So stay tuned for all the upcoming adventures here at the island and for the future homesteading adventures. You guys seem to be enjoying the videos and the whole series, so I'm really happy for that.
Thank you guys for all your comments. As always, a special thank you to those of you who have subscribed to my Patreon channel. The list keeps growing and your support really means a lot, so thank you guys for that. As always, I'm going to have a great night's sleep. Hope you guys do as well. And I will see you guys next week for another adventure.